add something, but not everyone can have ESPN quality. Y'all can dream. So do you want to announce assault or PCM? I know I have the packet on my phone if we need it. It'd be nice if they actually printed it out. Maybe it's for your needs.
Those are the announcements.
Oh, okay.
Blah, blah, straight, blah, blah.
Go visit so-and-so down it. It's not in the back.
Graduation stuff, which we don't have to worry about.
It doesn't look like it started. Maybe try refreshing it and see if it does anything. It says live next to it, so maybe hit the play button and hit the live button. So just, yeah, there we go. It's not showing anything yet, though.
Okay, so we got the scores out.
He hasn't switched it over to the live.
Let's.
Okay, so he'll switch the video feed on in about a minute.
And until you get rid of the buzz in the earphones, I'm not going to use them. Until you get rid of the buzz in the earphones. So we can't use them. I'm not going to use them.
Yeah, at least he speaks loudly enough I can hear him. I've announced to some people where I can't hear what they're saying, and then we start repeating each other.
All right, folks, we're about 2 minutes away from the second game of Junior JRDA's Open Division Tournament Northwest. We've got our two teams facing off. We got the Wasatch Assault going head-to-head with the Diamond City Miners. Referees are going through their gear checks. I'm up here with the original woman, Eve, and we will be calling the shots here. So let's introduce the two teams.
For the Diamond City Miners, we have number 0011, licensed to Dill. Number 003, Killer Queen. Number 013, Slasher. Number 1323, Hard Feelings. Number 15, Viper. Number 27, Kill Shot. Number 3006, Pocket Sand. Number 32, Scandalous. Number 360, Shovey Dovey. Number 507, Toxic Sloth. Number 555, your captain, Bowie's Knife. Number 711, Punchline. Number 78, Wicked. And number 97, Harm Alarm.
All right, and in full throat is your very own Warriors of the Wasteland, formed out of the very fire and assault that makes this valley whole. We got 101 Bad Cop, 115 Chameleon, 13 Green Tea, 138 in Captain today, Crimson Slayer, 142 Mockingbird, 2014 Circus, 2319 Rollerena, number 30 Lady J, 621 Gretcha Sketch, 6262 Pain Inda, 77, One Hit Wonder. 813 Mullet. 84 Chemical X. 919 Feline Feisty. And 95 Joe Don't Do It.
And we've got out on the line number 003, Killer Queen for DCM. Going up against number, it looks like 115 for Wasatch. We've got our first penalty going to Joe Don't Do It, number 95. And lead jammer for Wasatch. And not far behind, the DCM jammer is out on a scoring pass. Wasatch coming up to engage with that micro wall, getting a full 4 points on the pass and calling the jam. We have first blood to Wasatch Assault.
All right, and your officials for the game, calling the X's and O's and making sure the kids don't devolve into a knife fight. Kill a Key, Sarin Gas, Backslash, Screw Lucy, T-Rebel Maker, Angry Ogre, Cookies, Lobo Cop, Dino, Dr. Boom, Sujo, Asylum, Whammed Off, Kiss Off, Speed Bump, Phoenix, and Colonel Skirts and Data.
Out on the line, we have number 711, Punchline, going against number 13, Green Tea. We got a little bit of jammer-on-jammer engagement at the back of the pack here. Green Tea, the first to make contact, taking the in, but it looks like he's being forced to recycle, went over that line on the inside. The DCM jammer pushing against the anchored front wall, and it looks like Green Tea is your lead jammer. We still have that Diamond City jammer engaging with the pack, going against, looks like Crimson over there, number 138, taking them out of bounds, but they're back in and around, and they're following close behind Green Tea as he approaches the pack, deciding better and calling it before either jammer can score any more points.
All right, Wasatch showing their hand a little early, coming out with a quick 8-0 run. 2 jams, get your points, call it off. DCM is not being left behind. They're breaking out pretty quick, so Wasatch cannot jump out to a big lead. So here we go. It's 813 Mullet going head-to-head with 003 Killer Queen. Whistle blows. Mullet's on the outside. Killer Queen goes right into Gretchen Sketch at Crimson Slayer and One Hit Wonder. They don't move an inch. Now we have Charm Alarm head to the bench. And Mullet is loose. It's not a haircut. It's a lifestyle choice. That big smile tells you he got lead.
There's a beautiful take out there. Y'all saw from Crimson on the inside, forcing that jammer to recycle again.
Now Killer Queen getting loose, strips and slips out. Heads out, but able to gather themselves, comes back in. We'll see what Mullet wants to do. Mullet coming back around. Looks back, sees where his thing is. Here's the coach, calls it off before they can get there.
Really smart call off there by Mullet, making sure the DCM jammer didn't score any points. We got 2 points extra added on that jam. So for the jam, Wasatch Assault brings in 6. Adding the score, sitting at 14 Wasatch Assault, 0 for Diamond City Miners with 26.5 minutes left in this period. It is anyone's game, but we are seeing Wasatch coming out full force early in these first couple of jams. After jam this time, we have number 115, Chameleon, going up against 507, Toxic Sloth. We see Toxic Sloth and Chameleon both knocked to the outside. Lady J running back and drawing back the jammer and the blocker coming in from the box. And Wasatch is your lead jammer. Chameleon is coming around for a scoring pass. Toxic Sloth is still stuck in the pack, working against an anchored 3 wall of Wasatch players. Oh, and lovely. Chameleon comes in with speed, hits the seam, and is through for 4 points. Toxic Sloth still working at the back, star and head, but it looks like the announcer's curse is living because Toxic Sloth is on a scoring pass, but Chameleon sliding on through that tiny opening in the wall and calling it with another 4 points. That was a nice 8-point jam for Chameleon and for Wasatch, and just some really beautiful defensive work there from the Wasatch blockers.
All right, a big shout out, Roletta. We see you. We miss you. Come on home soon. So here we go. Green Tea going to line up against Bowie's Knife. Green Tea on the outside. Bowie's Knife on the inside. Dino giving the official whistle, hand up. Green Tea pointing out direction, looks back at Bowie's Knife, leads him into the wall, and now scoots forward to the outside. Bowie's Knife trying to get through there, trying to get through Painenda. Painenda doing a good job of one-on-one blocking. Painenda gets hit. Now hands off to Gretchen Sketch. Sketchy has to hand off. And now Green Tea is loose. I pity the fool that sleeps on green tea. He's been on those skates since he can walk. Sending in the play. Green tea tells his team, get up and get moving.
It looks
Green
like
tea-
a bit of USARs out there with how fast that pack is moving.
The juniors will put the pack on the move. And we got officials on the ground, though, but they call it good. So there we go. We reset.
Man, I was tired just watching that fast pack pick it up. But they call it off. It's a new jam. We have number 813 Mullet out to jam for Wasatch. Going up against, it looks like Harm Alarm for DCM. I've seen a lot of pivot line starts so far, giving those jammers a real chance to get a run at them because it doesn't look like anyone's rolling back for savings over here. The jammers get a running start. Wasatch is first to engage. DCM engaging at the front of the pack. Wasatch's jammer pushing and beautiful reforming there from the DCM blockers. It's just a mishmash pass, allowing Harm Alarm to be your lead jammer, but followed closely behind by Mullet, maybe a quarter track separating the two jammers. We see this pack speeding up. Wasatch trying to get it moving so that they can hopefully get to the top and protect their points from DCM. DCM coming in, calling it as they come in. We'll see if the refs do award DCM 3 points. That puts them on the scoreboard. 3 points for Diamond City Miners, 26 for Wasatch Assault, and we have 23 and a half minutes left in the first half.
Mullet, you're getting a shout out there from Kathleen. Go Mullet. We do have about 15 people watching around the area. So if you give a shout out, we'll take a look at it. As long as it's appropriate, we'll say something to the kids. So here we go. License to Dill lining up against Chameleon. License to Dill in the hip pocket of Chameleon. They both are aiming towards the inside. Chameleon takes the middle. License to Dill runs right into One Hit Wonder. Chameleon slips right around One Hit Wonder. Gretchen Sketch, Payne Enda, Crimson holding down License to Dill. Meanwhile, Chameleon's back around and scoring. Now License to Dill is loose. We'll see what Chameleon wants to do. And they get the orders. They call it off, blending into those walls and blending out.
Did you see that hit there on that turn? That was a beautiful. You saw the Wasatch jammer coming in and weaving through those blockers, but the last one covering that inside line sent the jammer flying. And just got to remember, in Junior Derby, a big hit isn't necessarily a penalty. It's just part of the game.
Absolutely. You have 70% of your body. They can plow into you, but you cannot touch anywhere near the back. But everything on the side is clean, as long as you're moving forward.
Out to jam, we have number 013 Slasher going up against number 13 Green Tea. We've got two grinding packs there at the jam line. Green Tea really trying to make some purchase, but that anchored 3-wall holding tight. Same goes for Wasatch. They do a little bit of a drawback. Bad Cop bringing Slasher back into the pack. You know, and you wouldn't know that Wasatch is missing one of their key blockers right now. There's just so much wonderful defensive work going on. We've got a bridge drop from DCM. Green Tea pushing out front, but getting pushed to the inside line and drawn back by number 97, Harm Alarm. Looks like we're going to be having a penalty called on somebody. And Green Tea, oh no, it is Green Tea. He's been assigned a track cut penalty, so we currently have a power jam for Diamond City Miners. Lead hasn't yet been established, so Slasher is still able to get lead so long as that helmet cover stays on the head. We see some good defensive work there by Wasatch and a little bit of offensive picking happening on that inside line. Unfortunately, the jammer isn't able to take advantage of it. Wasatch is doing everything they can to make this an effective penalty kill so that while their jammer coming back out can't get lead, they also won't let the other jammer be in control of this jam. We see the pack bridging out a little bit. We see DCM's pivot returning to the track. And then we see Green Tea back on the track. There will be no lead for him, but he can still be the first one out of the pack and the first one to go score some points. We have the jammer for DCM taking off the star and passing it to their pivot. And that means it's going to be a 2-minute jam. There is no lead jammer. Fortunately, there's only about 20 seconds left, so it won't be super long for everybody anymore. Green Tea out and scoring 4 points, and we see the pivot with a beautiful one-footed backwards toe stop, or a glide rather, coming around. They're putting the helmet cover on. Can Green Tea score some points, and can the pack outrun that jammer for another 3 seconds? And it looks like the answer is yes. No additional points are added for DCM. 1 point scored by Green Tea on that last pass, bringing the score to 34 for Wasatch Assault. 3 points for Diamond City Miners.
All right, Slasher, we got a shout out from Pillow. Watching at home, we're starting to get those shout outs rolling in. So here we go. We got Hard Feelings 13-23 coming out for Diamond City. Going to go head to head with Mullet 8-1-3. Wasatch has got 2 blockers in the box. We'll see how they play this. They're backed off to the pivot line. Gretchen Sketch and Payninda going to slow down what they can. Hard Feelings doing a good job so far. Cycling them back. Gretchen Sketch cycles back. Hard Feelings. Payninda sticking right with Gretch. They're doing what they got to do. They're doing a good job. Nice work on Gretchen Sketch. They get some help back as Joe Don't Do It clears the box. Comes right back in, puts a hit on Hard Feelings. Says, hey, no hard feelings, right? Now Hard Feelings gets cycled out again, right back in. Quick toe work on Hard Feelings. Still moving forward. Mullet not able to break that back down. Now Hard Feelings breaks out. Hard Feelings is your lead. Mullet, you're getting a shout out from Kathleen. Nice hop there by Hard Feelings there. They leave with both feet sideways and they land perpendicular, so they're just clean and skating. Mullet still trying to fight through that back. Hard Feelings is scoring. Hard Feelings has got 4, needs more. Coach sending in instruction. Mullet not used to that yet. Trying to get through there. Not his first tournament, but his first playoff. And Hard Feeling is in and out. And they call it off right there. It was Hard Feelings World.
Not to be missed, though, there was a nice star pass there at the end to Crimson. Unfortunately, there weren't any points scored for Wasatch that game, but fortunately for Diamond City Miners, they put 8 on the board, bringing them to 11, and Wasatch at 34 with 17 and almost 18 minutes left on the game. Out to jam for this jam, we have License to Dill going against Gretchen Sketch. And the penalty box is clear, so you're going to have full 4-on-4 derby, which we probably won't get to say too much this weekend. Our refs are really on it and watching for those penalties. Both jammers engaging with the pack, and it looks like License Dill is your lead jammer. We see Bad Cop for Wasatch going to the box. Gretch has the star off and is looking to pass it, or at least to make the other team feel like she might. But during that chaos, DCM's jammer, License to Dill, is through for 4 points, and Gretch is able to sneak on by as License to Dill comes in, takes the inside with a little offensive pick from their skater. Skares are yelling to call it before Gretch can engage, and it looks like it's a 0-0 on that pass. So in that jam, Diamond City Miners gained 4 points, bringing them to 15. Wasatch Assault still sitting at 34 points.
All right, Wasatch coming out of this one. Wasatch is going to come out with 2 in the box. 2 blockers are having a hard time keeping blockers out of the box right now. Killer Queen coming out against Green Tea. Wasatch backed off to the pivot line, starts sliding forward. Whistle blows and they go. Killer Queen to the outside. Green Tea trying to push right up the middle. Killer Queen runs into Chameleon. Chameleon doing a good job. There's one hit wonder over there. Now Killer Queen with a twist gets around one hit wonder. Not to be denied is Green Tea. Green Tea is out. Killer Queen's going to have to get on the horse. Wasatch puts the pack up, makes it on the move. Killer Queen calling it off as they hit the pack to make sure that Green Tea doesn't get any points.
I have to commend Killer Queen on that speed coming around. Like, no speed checks, just buzzing through. I would almost think they were playing for the Killer Bees, but no. DCM's Killer Queen has those quick feet. Out to jam now, we have Bowie's Knife going against Gretchen Sketch. It looks like we actually have clear packs, or clear box, which we haven't seen much, as Kevin was just pointing out. 5 seconds called. Both of the packs are starting mid-range between the jammer and pivot, giving the jammers time to pick up a little bit of speed and run. We see the DCM jammer taking the inside, but knocked out by a Wasatch blocker, recycled, and it looks like same game for both. The jammers are trying those lines and getting shoved out by really smart edge work by blockers. Number 9-7, Harm's Alarm, knocking out Gretchen Sketch and drawing back. We lose one of our Wasatch blockers to the box, giving Bowie's Knife a little less to fight against, but no less fearsome a wall with just 3. Gretsch is being drawn back again, this time by Punchline. And it looks like Wasatch has Bowie's Knife in what we call the sad place, just held tight on that line, but a little bit of offensive help coming from one of their fellow blockers. And it looks like Bowie's Knife is your lead jammer for this jam. It took Bowie about a minute to get through the back, and it looks like an untied skate lace is happening there. Really hope they're able to find a time to tie it. Skating through is a little scary, but Lady J taking the star pass here, forcing Bowie's Knife to call it off before points can be scored. It looks like we have 4 points being added for the Diamond City Miners, bringing them to 21. Wasatch still sitting at 34.
All right, license a deal. We got a shout out from Gabriella. Coming out of that, it looks like we're going to go with Hard Feelings, 1323 for Diamond City. Going to go head to head with 813 Mullet for the Wasatch team. Mullet's on the inside. Hard Feeling on the out. Hard Feeling runs over there. Tries to hit Mullet. Mullet shakes it off, moves forward. Mullet's on the inside. One more to beat. Twisting, turning. Mullet is loose. That Mullet always comes back. You think that's a style that's going to die, but it keeps coming back. So here we go. Hard Feeling still trying to fight through there, talking through their feelings. Mullet comes through. Chip, chip, chip. Gets out of there. Hard Feelings fighting through. Got Bad Cop in front of him, trying to fight around Bad Cop into Roller Reina and Painenda. Chameleon doing a good job leading the charge. Mullet's back in there, trying to push through. They become static now. Mullet takes off. Hearing his coach, saw the opening, shot right through there. Nice, collected himself and got through there just fine. Mullet's through. Now it looks like Chameleon into the box. Oh, we have a star pass there. Toxis Sloth takes the handoff. Toxis Sloth immediately breaks containment. Coming around. Mullet seeing they broke containment. Doesn't want to let Sloth score. Calls it off before Sloth can get back around.
You know, they say mullets are business in the front, party in the back, but Mullet the skater looked like they were having a party up front, and they scored a big 12 points on that jam, which is just the momentum shift Wasatch needs here. Out to jam for the first time, we have number 9-5, Joe, Don't Do It, going against number 32, Scandalous. We have a bit of a micro pack happening out there. The same two out there for Wasatch, and a full contingent of DCM blockers, meaning Joe is going to have her work cut out for her, and hopefully Scandy can take a little bit of, advantage of this micro pack, but it looks like the Wasatch blockers are holding strong, and Joe is your lead jammer. Despite that differential, Joe was able to sneak out, and it looks like Scandy is now on a scoring pass as well, so Joe will be looking to get some points and call it. Hopefully. Or we might be looking at a get your friends out of the box kind of situation. It all depends on what's being called by the Wasatch bench. We hear them yelling for her, but in that bit of chaos, Joe may not be able to hear what's going on. But she does eventually hear the call-off yell and was able to score 3 points on that pass and was able to keep Scandalous from getting any points on the pass, bringing Wasatch score to 49 and Diamond City Miners to 21 with 11 and a half minutes left in the first half.
All right, Diamond City sending out Viper. First time we've seen that one on the track today. Going to go head-to-head 15 versus 13, Green Tea. Wasatch backed off a little bit, collapses onto the line. Green Tea right there, takes off. They both make instant contact. Oh, Shovey Dovey earns their name right there.
Huge hit there. That
Big
was
hit.
Ooh.
And out of there is Viper. Viper is loose. Green Tea didn't like that hit. He's coming around full speed. There will be no speed cuts in junior roller derby at this level. And they call it off.
I'm going to have to give a shout out to the refs there. As fast as those skaters on the track are going, the outside pack refs are keeping up with them and really hauling what to make sure they can see the action happening on the track.
Yeah, and don't forget these officials who are on the outside track are actually skating more than the actual track because the outside track is just bigger.
Oh, geometry. We have a team timeout being called by Diamond City Miners, which is going to give everyone a chance to sort the points, take a breath, get some water, and get ready to get back to action, because this is, despite the score differential, this is a fantastic game happening here and a beautiful display of Junior Derby at its finest.
I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors for the games today. First of all, is Canyon Sports Therapy. They're over there behind the medics box, taking care of your kids with the therapists, applying KT tape and things like that. Pie Pizzeria, which has always been very generous to us at the Derby Depot. If you're here in town and need a good place to eat, you cannot go wrong with the Pie Pizzeria. I've never had a bad pie there.
And
So
they do have vegan options, which is always nice.
yeah, they have every option, I think, on the planet, from gluten-free. I didn't see the Cro-Magnum diet on there yet, though. But
You know, give it time. I think Effen's in the building, so maybe sneak that suggestion to him.
all right. Also, Einstein Bagels that provided us with all our treats this morning. 187 pads to keep our bodies safe. 1-800-CONTACTS for a financial donation. And Midwest Data for supporting our skaters. Those are our shout-outs for our sponsors today.
Back on the track, we have lining up to jam number 813 Mullet going against number 97 Harm Alarm. We have full 4 on each side of the track, so those jammers' work is going to be a bit cut out for them, with strong defensive walls happening all weekend so far. Both jammers hit the pack. We see them taking similar paths, kind of following one another through, going to the out, then to the in, and Harm Alarm is your lead jammer, first out of the pack. But not far behind, maybe a quarter track, Mullet is coming. We see Harm Alarm hauling butt to get back to the pack as it speeds up, trying to make sure Wasatch is controlling that speed so that Harm Alarm can't get those points as easily. You know, it's really hard to catch up to a fast-moving pack, but Harm Alarm does a great job coming forward, scoring 3 points against that pack before Mullet's able to catch any. So it brings the score up to 24 Diamond City Miners, 52 for Wasatch Assault with 9.5 minutes left in the half.
All right, Assault, you're getting a shout-out from Roletta. She's saying, love you guys. You're doing amazing. Keep on rolling from Roletta out there. Roletta, back at you. We love you. We miss you. Come home. So here we go. Joe Don't Do It lining up against Punchline. Both teams backed off a little bit. Joe takes the outside. Punchline trying to take the inside. Now we have a power jam as Joe gets off for a hit in the back, and that's going to give Punchline room to operate. Punchline takes full advantage of that, slips around. It looks like Chameleon and Feisty and One Hit Wonder. Now they line up. They're looking to block out. Chameleon engages Punchline, sends them flying a little bit. They recycle back. Now on the inside, Punchline is through. They've got their first 4. Diamond City lined up in a blocking formation. They don't need it. They do a little hop over there. Punchline Punchline cut the track, they say. At the cut track penalty. And right at the cut track penalty, Joe Don't Do It was released. And when she was released, she broke through. She sent it into play to the team. She said, get in there and break stuff. Diamond City going to try to put it on the move. That's Pocket Sand who slows down Joe. They cycle Joe way back. Nice work by DCM as they cycle Joe back in a bridge. And now they collapse on each other to make sure they all intercept Joe. Joe is on her scoring drive, but yet to make any points yet. Bodies start flying, and now has an opening on the outside. There's Joe's first 4. Release and engage is Punchline. They immediately hit One Hit Wonder and Chameleon. They stand stiff. Joe Don't Do It gets cycled back. Big cycle, too far. Now they get the bridges in place. And Punchline is loose. No one can call it off. Oh, the bad cop slid over there, but Punchline hopped over the top. Punchline with a nice little move was able to get out of there. Punchline pulling him within 20.
We want to give a big shout out, thank you to our medics here who make sure that we can continue playing roller derby safely at the Derby Depot. That jam was called off, and it looks like DCM was able to score 12 points during the jam, and Wasatch scored 7, bringing the score to 59 Wasatch, 36 Diamond City Miners. Out to jam in this jam, we have number 115 Chameleon versus number 1323 Hard Feelings. The 5 seconds is called. The skaters are all in position, 4-on-4 derby here. Both skaters hit the pack, getting stopped a bit by the DCM wall, both jammers. We have Chameleon fighting on the outside and the DCM jammer fighting on the inside. Hard Feelings pushing inside outside, but being taken out of bounds by the Wasatch blockers and forced to come back in. We have a strong anchored 3-wall with a satellite there supporting the Wasatch line. Same business going at the front of the pack, holding Chameleon back. Chameleon is pushed out of bounds, forced to recycle again. That's number 97, Harm Alarm, holding at the back of the pack, doing some beautiful one-on-one blocker work. And Chameleon makes a little bit of a hop, and it looks like both jammers are out on their scoring pass. DCM is lead, so it's going to be a foot race to catch up to that pack. Currently, Chameleon is in the lead in the front, which forces a smart call-off there for the DCM jammer. No points for either team, but a few laps for endurance for all the skaters out on the track.
All right, Diamond City, Mount Crushmore says keep going, keep up that steady defense. They like what they're seeing back there at home. All right, so here we go. Coming out of this, we're going to be Viper up against Green Tea. Both teams on the pivot line, neither one moving back. These are two jukey skaters. I would be right on the jam line, but here we go. Viper gets sent out by Lady J. Green Tea goes to the outside and gets out. Green Tea is out. Viper trying to get out, tiptoes along, but getting cycled out. One hit wonder sends him way back. Green Tea is back into the pack. Viper is trying to still break through to break initial containment. Now Viper tiptoes along the inside, is finally loose. Green Tea is on their scoring drive, and Green Tea calls it off before Viper gets around.
We see a nice little show of sportsmanship there between the jammers. We have Bowie's Knife giving a high five to Mullet. And it looks like we have full 4-on-4 again. You know, the penalty box is maybe taking a little bit of a break, relaxing. It's not often we see everyone on the track for so many jams.
All right, we got shout-outs to Slasher from Pillow and Abby, and one to Wasatch Assault from Kathleen.
Jamming out there, we've got Bowie's Knife pushing at the front of the pack, called as lead jammer, as Wasatch comes back to play offense for Mullet, trying to help them get through the pack. A beautiful spin on the inside, but into the out-of-bounds area. Harm's Alarm coming back. Doesn't have position to draw a cut, but being cautious, Mullet goes back and makes sure that cut isn't assigned. We hear some penalty whistles being called. Harm's Alarm is going to the box. Mullet is out on a scoring pass, but no, that is a track cut assigned to the Wasatch jammer Mullet. So we have a power jam for Diamond City Miners. We see setting up for offense. We see Bowie's Knife coming in with some speed. Taken to the outside. Chemical X holding the outside line, and Bad Cop running a drawback. Forcing Bowie's Knife to recycle and have to re-engage with the pack without the speed they came in with before. Wasatch recycling around. We're seeing Bowie's Knife take the outside line on the toe stops and calling it off, freezing the Wasatch jammer in the box for this next jam.
All right, a shout out to Be Strong from Michael Castro.
During the last jam, we saw Diamond City Miners able to rack up 8 points against a 0 for Wasatch. This is really getting to be a close game. And the score differential is less than 20 points. It could be anyone's game.
All right, punchline coming out there for Diamond City Miners. We got a power start. Wasatch sends out their wall. They got 4 blockers, but no jammer. So they're going to have to hold down punchline for at least 30 seconds before they can get Mullet out there. And punchline is broke loose. They got lead jammer. Right as they break free, Mullet is released. Mullet's through. He's got through the jam line, and now he's trying to move through. Punchline is trying to get up there. Wasatch forming into a wall, trying to stop Punchline from getting through. And they're going to give punchline 2 before Mullet can get around.
There was a blink and you miss it moment during that jam. Mullet, that feathered hair giving some lift and a beautiful apex jump across to get out. It didn't score lead jammer, but honestly, it scored some style points up here with the announcers. That was a beautiful jump. Out to jam, we have Chameleon, number 115 for Wasatch, going against 1323, Hard Feelings. We do have one Wasatch blocker in the box, and it looks like a timeout is being called by Wasatch now. So if you can't get enough Derby, we have some more Derby coming up really soon. Wasatch is holding their Pride bout Wasatch Adult Roller Derby is holding their Pride bout on June 28th at 6:30 at the Derby Depot. We're going to be having a great game with the theme of Block Hate, Roll with Love. Tickets are on sale now. Visit wasatchrollerderby.org for more info and to get yours. And if you happen to be a little further south, we're going to be having a game in Moab, the annual Red, White, and Bruised bout. It'll be on July 5th at the Grand County Fairgrounds in Moab. There'll be 2 mashup games with a relaxed atmosphere and a beautiful setting. Visit their social media for more information. That is the Beehive Skate Revolution. We hear the rolling whistle, which means we're going to get back to roller derby here. Still out there, same jammers, number 115, Chameleon for Wasatch, and number 1323, Hard Feelings for Diamond City Miners. 5 seconds is called. We have 3 Wasatch blockers versus 4 DCM. And we see Hard Feelings taking the outside line, pushed out by Bad Cop and Circus. But it looks like they are getting a track cut because one of those blockers did have position. That was Crimson Slayer drawing the cut. And we have lead jammer for Chameleon coming in with some fast and furious offense there. A little bit of a stumble. Everyone's back on their feet and fighting. Wasatch choosing to do a little bit of passive offense here, being yelled at by the bench to go help. Unfortunately, Chameleon does go down and isn't able to take advantage of those hits, but is now pushing forward. The Wasatch players preparing for the re-entry by the DCM jammer. Chameleon is lead and on a scoring pass, but honestly, you have to free fight for those same 4 points every time you get recycled. You have them in your pocket, but you can't get any new points until you make it out on the next scoring pass. The DCM jammer returning to the pack and fighting against a braced 4 wall of Wasatch as Chameleon comes around scoring 4 points on their first scoring pass. We see the pivot lining up, trying to take the pass, and is successful. There is a star pass there. It looks like Harm Alarm, as Chameleon comes around for another scoring pass, scoring another 4, and calling it off before Harm Alarm is able to engage with the pack. That was a big jam for Wasatch there. 8 points, bringing them to 70, and 46 for Diamond City Miners. This is probably the last jam of this half with 35 seconds left in this period. But we'll have another 30 minutes of roller derby action coming your way after a short break.
All right, we got a couple shout outs to the Miners. We got Jim Smith, Let's Go from Fitz, Michael Castro, and Abby Slasher. Go, go, go. Here we go. Green Tea up against License to Dill. License Dill goes in the inside, gets right up into the pack. Green Tea trying to fight through the white wall. White wall doing a good job holding back Green Tea. License to Dill is out first. License to Dill is out. We're now in bonus time. As the jam clock will take over, it's License to Dill's world. Until breaks out, License to Dill's not going to call it off. Green Tea getting cycled back. Trying to fight his way through there. Trying to get up in there, tiptoeing. License to Dill sees Green Tea coming, but no, keeps going. Coach says get in there, go, 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 and then call it off right when they get there. All right, that's going to bring us to halftime. We got about 15 minutes. And we wait for the rolling whistle. We're not officially at halftime. And there we go. We're at halftime, folks. 15 minutes. Get up, move around. Remember, leave the bathrooms open for people with wheels on their feet for at least a few minutes. Go outside, use the porta potties, go buy some merch from visiting players, and we'll be back in about 15 minutes.
And if you're hungry, there are snacks available at concessions. pick up some merch, pick up some snacks, and we'll see you back in 15 minutes.
If nothing else, I tried to say the sport very honestly, but yeah, sorry. Yay, technology. You just want to sit next to me.
All right. All right, folks, we're just about 3 minutes away from the second half of this Derby action. 20 points separating these two teams. Anybody's game. Make sure you've refilled your water bottles. Make sure you've gone potty. I cannot stress it enough. Drink, drink, drink. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. It is getting a little sticky in here right now. We've got a couple more games today, plus a graduation bout. So make sure you are hydrating, body maintenance, and not just water, but also, the liquid IVs, the Powerades, things that put some electrolytes back in your body. You are losing a tremendous amount of salts right now. So make sure you are putting it back into your body. Now the referees will go through a second gear check because, well, kids are forgetful and they will forget their gear. Sometimes they're on the bench and forget their gear. But nonetheless, this is just once again to make sure that they stay safe. So we do have a number of photographers here tonight. We will be posting all the pictures onto the Wasatch Juniors Facebook page as soon as we can. It takes a few minutes to edit them. I do the editing, and usually by the end of a game between Boat Snack and Mama Bear, we end up with about 3,000 pictures to sort through. I go through them, make sure we didn't get any bad shots. I used to edit out the crashes, and then the kids told me don't do that. We love the crashes, so the crashes get left in there. All right, gear check's all done. Teams all on their benches. Everybody get into your stand, buckle up. We see the officials skating out from the officials area. They're all properly fed. After this, about 1:30ish or so, we will be taking a break. Oh, maybe not 1:30 because we're not even through this yet. But after this, we'll be taking a break. All right, folks. Parked in front of one of the units, this is a public service announcement. Parked in front of Unit 14, we have a tan CX-5, a white Yaris, a white BMW i3, a blue Corolla, and a gray Tundra. They're putting out cones right now, but you are in a spot you're not supposed to be. They have not warned us yet, but let's get ahead of them and go move your car. Tan CX-5, white Yaris, white BMW i3, blue Corolla, and gray Tundra. Please move your vehicle or Salt Lake County will move it for you, and it's $455 to get your car out of inbound. So here we go.
Out to jam, we have number 115, Chameleon, going against number 507, Toxic Sloth. We have 4-on-4 blockers, and the jam starts. Chameleon is the first to hit the pack and push to the inbounds. Toxic Sloth is trying to push against a strong anchored 3-wall with a satellite skater. Chameleon is pushing forward. We have the pack in the back. Pack is in the middle here now. There is a forced drawback there by number 77. That's one hit wonder. And Toxic Sloth being smart, checking that the hips came in behind. And lead jammer is assigned to Chameleon. We have a drawback there happening from Lady J. Toxic Sloth being pulled back to the jammer line and forced to engage one-on-one. As Chameleon comes through, is taken to the inbounds and knocked out of bounds by, it looks like, pocket sand, sha happening there. Chameleon is weaving through those players, and we have a star pass here to the DCM pivot, who is stuck behind that same contingent of 3 blockers. We see some offense happening on the inside line, but the pivot is unable to take advantage of it as Chameleon scores 4 points and comes down for another scoring pass. Coming up against a flat 3-wall, which Chameleon's able to bust through, hitting the seam and going. A bit of engagement there with number 78 at the front of the pack. That is Wicked. Chameleon is coming around for another scoring pass. That DCM pivot still struggling against that strong, slow anchored wall. Chameleon is knocked to the inside and forced to recycle back to near the pivot line and engaging with 2 flat blockers, which honestly, I'm impressed how well those flat-facing blockers are able to hold, but Chameleon is out and scoring more points. So far, Chameleon has racked up 12 on the jam. This is a monster jam for Wasatch right now. And it looks like the DCM pivot is giving it their all and pushing. We do have a forearm call being assessed to a Wasatch blocker. That's Lady J going to the box, which means there'll be one less person for that pivot to fight against. But they're not making it easy. We see Chameleon knocked out of bounds, and the jam ends. There was no pass there, or no initial pass completed by DCM. Their points stay at 50. But during that jam, Chameleon was able to rack up 16 points for Wasatch, bringing the score to 86 Wasatch, 50 Diamond City Miners.
All right, coming out, it's going to be Punchline up against Mullet. Also, we have a shout out from the Quad Father. Quad Father says, "Let's go Miners." And Slasher, your biggest fan, is watching Abby right now. So here we go. Punchline up against Mullet. They slam forward, moving forward into the pack. Punchline gets into Crimson Slayer. Crimson Slayer slowing down Punchline, trying to cycle back and forth now, has an opening, runs into Bad Cop, runs over Bad Cop. Crimson Slayer with a last-ditch effort, can't get there. Mullet's into the pack, and now we have a back block here by Mullet as he gets sent off. So Punchlines get a power jam. We'll see how they do. They get in, they get out. 4 quick points. Now Wasatch gets hold as they get another blocker back. Crimson Slayer realizes they're setting up offense, cuts off the offense. But now we have a forearm call to Punchline as they cycle out, and they're going to head to the box, which will immediately release Mullet. Mullet is loose and Mullet is out. Harm Alarm slips over there to try to catch Mullet. Mullet didn't get triggered on that one and gets through there. Mullet is up in there. Now it's a 4-4 tie. Mullet gets the advantage. Coming through there, Mullet's got 8. Punchline is loose, immediately makes contact. Wasatch Wall holding strong. Mullet trying to fight through that DCM wall, trying to tiptoe along the inside, gets cycled back by Harm Alarm. Harm Alarm one-on-one blocking. Now Mullet slips around Harm Alarm, runs into another blocker. Shakes off 27 there. Mullet is loose. That was kill shot there that slowed Mullet down for a moment. Now it looks like Punchline is being cycled back. Crimson Slayer heading to the box. Lady J engages Punchline. Hands off to Bad Cop. Bad Cop does the final check out. Sends Punchline flying and a call off right there. That's going to trap one in the box for Wasatch.
Ooh, I don't know about y'all, but that was a long 2 minutes. Let's give it up for these skaters and their awesome endurance. Out to jam, we have number 003, Killer Queen, going against number 762. That is Pain Inda. We haven't seen Pain Inda jam yet in this game, so I'm excited to see what they have up their sleeve. We have one Wasatch pivot in the box, so we have a little bit of a practice advantage. Pain Inda trying to take the middle, but it is Killer Queen who is your lead jammer. Pain Inda about a quarter lap behind, chasing, catching up a little bit. We see Wasatch walling up at the front, and we see Killer Queen taking the outside, spinning. And, I can't tell if there were points there. It looks like the refs are conferring to confirm how many.
It all depends on when they pass. If they passed inbounds or out of bounds, can't pass the skater out of bounds and have it count. So here we go, waiting for backslash. She's going to give him 4.
Yeah, and it looks like it is the full 4 points. Remember, points do go by the hips, not by the feet.
All right, Green Tea up against Viper. We've seen this one before. Viper slams into that wall. Green Tea slams into the Diamond City wall. Both walls holding straight. Now it looks like Viper has the advantage. Viper gets loose. Green Tea is about 40 feet behind Viper. Digging hard, trying to get around. Viper slips a little, tries to come around. Bad Cop being held back, so they don't have as many blockers up there. But those blockers up there are Lady J, and they call it off. Viper is calling it off right as they get in there. They're going to climb back in this with the 1-2, 1-2 type of call.
I have to commend the speed for both of those jammers. That was a wonderful point steal there for Green Tea. You see them flying around the track, and it's not easy. This track has some slick moments, and just being able to stay upright at max speed is impressive. Out there, we have number 711, Punchline, going against number 813, Mullet. Full 4 for 4 on the track. We see Mullet engaging first with the pack on the outside, stepping over a down skater. That's scandalous. And Mullet is your lead jammer. We see the stars off. Punchline's pushing against that anchored 3 wall. The wall staying there back, forcing a bit of passive offense. And a recycle. Mullet is through for 4 points, while Punchline is still working against the back. That's Chemical X holding it down. As DCM takes a little bit of a passive stance, waiting for Mullet to re-engage, which you can't blame him. Mullet is having a fantastic game here and is through for another 4 points already. We see a one-footed glide, and the jammer for DCM is out. Punchline is now on a scoring pass, so Mullet's probably going to try and isolate some points. It looks like there weren't any points for either, which is a smart call. You don't want to give up any free points or free real estate to the other team. Score sits at 110 Wasatch, 64 Diamond City Miners, with 22 minutes left in the game.
All right, folks, we got a shout out from Joe to Mini Beast. Hard feelings. You're killing it. Mama loves you. So here we go. Killer Queen up against Pain Inda. The packs immediately separate. Killer Queen up into the white pack. Pain Inda trying to get around Harm Alarm. Harm Alarm has proven to be a great blocker. Doesn't get through easy. Now Harm Alarm has to chip off. as Killer Queen is cycled back by Lady J, and then they trip in there to make sure Lady J can't drag him all the way back. Nobody's got an advantage yet. Pain Ended trying to push through that white wall. One wall. We got whistles blowing. Now we'll see who's going. Oh, and it's a power jam, folks. Wasatch drops back into offense, trying to help Pain Ended squirt through there. They need her to get out of there.
Honestly, when you're coming from behind and trying to catch up the score, power jam is the last thing you want to see happen here against you.
Oh, so Pain Ended is being cycled back by Harm Alarm once again. They're telling her, come back, come back. Pain Ended still not through, still staying in. One more to beat. Pain Ended's almost there. And now Pain Ended's through. And Lead Jammer, that was a hard fought 1 minute just to try to get Lead Jam, but that cooked off enough penalty. Killer Queen is released and back engaged. Killer Queen has not broke containment yet, so they're still on her initial pass. Looks like DCM has sent players to the box, so there's only 3 blockers out there with Pain Ended. Wasatch getting low, and there you go. Pain Ended's loose, got 4. Pain Ended is a wrestler on the outside world. Not a pro wrestler, but a real wrestler. And there we go. Oh, nice move by Joe Don't Do It. His little gamesmanship. As Joe thought they thought they'd cycle in, and Joe slipped back. That's a Colonel Skirts move right there.
Well, and because of the fact that there's only 10 seconds left on this jam, it was going to be a power start either way for Wasatch, but now they're getting the full 30-second power start because the DCM jammer just sat down in the box. So we're going to see them put out number 813 Mullet to jam on this power start. It's going to be a full 4 versus 4. We're going to see if Wasatch is able to offer some assistance to Mullet to help get them through the pack. This is a really good chance for Wasatch to deepen that score divide if they can. We see them, oh my gosh, if you weren't watching, you would have missed it, but there was a beautiful offensive snake wrap there on the inside, allowing Mullet to get out immediately and be your lead jammer. We see a little bit of offense happening on the outside, unfortunately earning one-hit wonder penalty, but Mullet's coming in hot and fast, and it's pushing against the pivot. That's Bowie's knife. And it looks like scoring another 4-point pass. We've got the DCM wall lining up again, preparing to engage as Killer Queen re-enters the track on the initial pass for the DCM jammer. Mullet is being knocked out of bounds and forced back. It looks like the pack going a little too far and the DCM pivot being sent to the box for a failure to reform. Mullet is through for another pack and calling it furiously before the DCM jammer can score the full 4 points. They do score 3. So on that jam, we see 3 points for DCM at 67 now. And it looks like we have just 8. I thought it might have been 12, but 8 points for Wasatch, bringing them to 126. There's 18 and a half minutes left. And, this game is just so entertaining to watch.
All right, and we begin the next one. Chameleon coming out for the Wasatch team. 13-23 Hard Feelings for the white team. Chameleon goes to the inside. Hard Feelings goes right up into the pack, right up in the middle. Runs into Lady J, Bad Cop, and Joe Don't Do It. Slow down now. Chameleon is cut loose. Chameleon is free and going around. Bodies piling up on the 405 there. Hard Feelings still trying to get around, getting cycled around. Now we got whistles blowing, people skating off. Chameleon is back in and back out. Chameleon has got 4. You guys coming up from Bakersfield, I hope you stopped at that candy store and brought us a little bit of that candy. Mullet getting a well done from Kathleen. Oh, it looks like no lead has been established yet, so DCM can still get lead. Chameleon got a no pass, no penalty. So they are able to score, but not able to call it off. Hard Feelings can't do anything until they get out. Now Hard Feelings is getting cycled back. Hard Feelings has been fighting there for a minute plus. Chameleon is just skating. Another 4 points, 12 points for Chameleon so far. First jam of the day was 32 points, so that's going to be hard to beat a big jam of the day. Mealing comes in there, gets a big hit, absorbs it, keeps moving forward. Hard Feelings is pushing on that whole Wasatch Wall, and that Wasatch Wall is not breaking at all. They're not bending. Hard Feelings gets cycled back by Lady J. Runs back into Lady J. Punchline back there to try to provide some offense, and that finally springs Hard Feelings. Hard Feelings is the lead jammer. We'll see what DCM wants to do. They keep going forward. Hard Feelings is big, don't do it. And Bad Cop sliding over to head them out. Says, hey, no hard feelings, right, Hard Feelings?
That was a pretty crazy jam. I want to honestly, you may think 72 points is a bridge too far, but honestly, a couple of good jams can swing either way, and nobody should be counted out at this point yet. This has been a really hard-hitting, smart gameplay, and I'm here for it, y'all. This is only the second game of the tournament, and I can only imagine it's going to get better from here. It's fantastic derby. Oh no, and we hear what might be that familiar chorus of the Macarena starting. Usually we have the whole team up and dancing, but it looks like just a mini dance break this time. Out to jam, we have number 32, Scandalous, against number 762, Pain Inda. We're going against, looks like micropacks for each side, so just 3-on-3. Giving a little less for those jammers to push against, but the anchored tripods are so fierce. But Pain Inda is more. Pain Inda is your lead jammer, pushing through that tripod and already on the way back to score some more points. We have DCM's pivot going to the box, and Pain Inda making easy work of that 2-wall to get 4 points for Wasatch. We see Scandalous pushing hard up at the front, trying to muscle their way through that tripod. But, 3 versus 1 is a tough challenge to overcome. Pain Inda is engaging with that flat wall in the back of DCM. You don't see much flat wall work anymore, but they are honestly using it to their advantage because it does force the jammers to hit the seams and risk a back block more than they would normally. We see pushing Scandy, pushing hard. That anchored 3-wall up there, making it so tough, but they are bridging out, and Scandalous is close to getting out of that pack. Pain Inda rushing forward, scoring another 4 points. Pain had to really work for that pass. Those 4 points were hard fought, but it looks like Pain Inda's coming around for another scoring pass. Wasatch still holding down that anchored tripod at the front. It's actually more of a quad pod now. We've got 4 blockers up there. Pain Inda being forced to the inside and being recycled a little bit. We have the DCM pivot returning to the track, meaning we have 4-on-4 derby again, which just means endurance, endurance, endurance for everybody on the track. Usually we would see, a star pass here happening for the team if they're struggling, but kudos to everybody for just fighting that out. That was a beautiful, beautiful jam. Wasatch Assault adding 12 points to their score there, bringing them to 154. Diamond City Miners still sitting at 70 with 13 and a half minutes left in this game.
All right, here we go. Jam number 9 of the second half, period 2. We've got Killer Queen 003 out there for Diamond City Miner. Going to go ahead with number 13, Green Tea for the Wasatch. Both teams collapse onto the jam line. They take off, both to the outside. Green Tea gets cycled out by Viper. Viper cycles them back. Green Tea back in there. Now Green Tea trying to tiptoe along the line, trying to move forward, now has the advantage. Meanwhile, Killer Queen is cycled back by Bad Cop. Bad Cop gets taken out, and now Killer Queen slides forward. Green Tea is back around, sees where Killer Queen is. We'll see what Green Tea wants to do it. And they tell Green Tea, call it off before Killer Queen can get back around. Only 12 minutes left in this half. Jam 10. We do have a graduation after this. We'll see what time it was. It was supposed to be about 1:30, but obviously it's not going to be that time, so stay tuned.
Out to jam for the jam, we have number 97, Harm Alarm, going against 813 Mullet. We have 4-on-4 derby, so those big, strong packs ready to hold these jammers. Both jammers strong and squirrely, to be honest with you. Mullet being pushed to the outside, and a big drawback there by Bowie's Knife and Pocket Sand. But it does give Mullet a chance to get a running start, but not enough to help there because Harm Alarm is your lead jammer. Harm coming around, getting a scoring point. Mullet still fighting at the back against Punchline. And just the pack is getting a little broken up and split, and we have a power jam now for Wasatch. It looks like Harm Alarm went to the box. I didn't see the penalty call, but this is going to be 30 seconds for Wasatch to really try and help Mullet get out of that pack and start scoring some points of their own. Beautiful big drawback there by Bowie's Knife. Re-engaging with Mullet, knocking to the outside, or to the inside rather, but able to sneak around that outside with the entire pack glommed up on the inside. That was a really smart move by Mullet. I know they've got to be feeling this jam because that was a minute of solid effort. But coming around to engage, and Harm Alarm is back on the track as well, fighting against that wall. We've got a skater on the ground, but nimbly avoiding them. And we see a little bit of speed picking up there. The packs are moving, giving the jammers a chance to kind of make a little bit of purchase. Mullet on the outside, pushing one to beat the pivot. That is Bowie's Knife, but Mullet is through again for another 4 points. Not far behind, though. Harm Alarm is coming around. That was their first scoring pass, so it's a 4-4 jam currently. Mullet is there, taken on the inside out. That's taken by Pocket Sand. Happening there. Mullet is looking at the clock, making sure they're not going to get a penalty in the time between now and the end of the jam. Harm Alarm threw for another 4 points while nobody was watching. And Mullet is trying to engage. There's a little bit of offense happening. Mullet muscling through, but they are knocked down and taken to the outside. We see the pivot for DCM running back, and the time mercifully finally expires on that jam. Oh, I'm tired just announcing it. I can't imagine how winded these kids are feeling, but they are some consummate athletes, honestly. Wasatch is sitting at 163, Diamond City Miners at 82, with just 10 minutes left in the game.
All right, we're going to come out with Viper, number 15, going to go head-to-head with 115 Chameleon. Slasher, you're getting a shout-out from your biggest fans, and Salma's watching along. Whistle blows, and they both switch sides. Chameleon right up the middle. Viper trying to go to the inside. Now Chameleon trying to push the whole pack. Lady J cycling Viper back. Viper gets cycled back, runs into one-hit wonder, able to keep their skates inbounds, and gets out. One-hit wonder thought they got him out, but no. They're saying they got him. So there we go. Viper is lead jammer. Viper's coming around. Wasatch just turned around. Doesn't see Viper coming. Engages now. Now they see Viper. Chameleon is loose. And here comes Chameleon slicing through. Viper still trying to get cycled around. We'll see what they go. 4 for Chameleon and 3 for Viper.
We've got another full 4-on-4 out here playing. We've got lined up to jam Bowie's Knife for DCM. Don't see, oh, here comes the jammer for Wasatch. It's Payninda. We see some high fives, some fist bumps, some really good, camaraderie between these teams. They played earlier this year in a really fascinating game, and I'm just so glad to see this rematch. We see Payninda pushing at the back with Bowie's Knife pushing hard and fast up at the front, forcing those walls to recycle and close the gaps. Payninda pushing forward a little bit slower, but now closing the gap between those two packs, so they're all glommed up on turn one, trying to push their way through, but honestly, the defense between these two teams has been so impressive this game. Payninda is toward the front, Bowie's Knife being drawn back by Crimson, getting a little bit of speed, which honestly, Bowie's Knife would love. That little bit of speed, they do crash into the other skater and fall down, but having that little bit of speed can be a godsend when you're trying to get out of the pack. Going from a standstill is darn near impossible. Sorry, folks, I'm used to announcing adults. We do have Payninda pushing at the front. Lead jammer is still open a minute into this jam. There's the announcer's curse. Killer Queen is your lead jammer for this jam. They have it listed as Killer Queen, but that's actually Bowie's Knife out there as the jammer. But But either way, they are your lead jammer, and they just scored 4 points with a beautiful bit of footwork there on the outside. We still see Payne Inda struggling at the pack. The helmet cover is off. Gretsch, their pivot, is up at the front of the pack, and it doesn't look like they're able to offer much assistance. But Bowie's Knife gets through, snags maybe a couple points. Waiting to see 3 points for Bowie's Knife. That was a big jam for Diamond City Miners. They added 7, bringing their score to 92. Wasatch hanging at 167 with 6 3/4 of a minute left in this half. There's still a lot of time to score points. I'm really curious to see, as the game winds down, how the score will tighten and how the strategy might change a little bit. We have an official timeout being called. These official timeouts give our refs and officials time to check in, make sure they have the score right, make sure everyone's on the same page, make sure there aren't any people in danger of fouling out due to penalties. It's a good time for the skaters to have a second to breathe, regroup, get ready. You know, and our officials are skating just as much as these skaters, and honestly, they could use a moment too sometimes to grab water. We see a little bit of silliness happening over here on the jam line. Punchline is already lined up ready to jam. It looks like Green Tea might be our jammer for Wasatch, but everyone's just taking their time getting ready. DCM practicing their lateral tracking, which I love to see. Just, you know, the game never stops. So I'm curious, who here in the venue is rooting for DCM? All right. That's good. Who here is for Wasatch? I gotta say, Wasatch was a little bit louder, and you know, the louder you cheer, the faster they're gonna skate, right? I mean, we all know this is the rule. So for this last 6.5 minutes, let's make sure we cheer these skaters on, regardless of who you're rooting for, even if you're just rooting for a good game. While we have a free moment here, we'd like to shout out some of our sponsors. We have Canyon Sports Therapy for supporting our skaters, the Pie Pizzeria, which has been voted Utah's best pizza for, quite a while here, and they've been in business for over 40 years. Einstein Bagels was kind enough to donate bagels for our volunteers, officials, NSOs, medics, and skaters. We appreciate the support. 187 Killer Pads for our skaters. 1-800-CONTACTS, because if you can't see what's happening on the track, you can't play derby. And Midwest Data for supporting our skaters. Thank you to our sponsors for this awesome tournament.
All right, as we come back out of that, it looks like Crimson Slayer picked up their final penalty as they're skating off. And they're going to reset. Referee's got everything set away. So here we go. 7-11 punchline coming out against Green Tea. Both lined up on the outside. Green Tea jukes. They both move to the inside. Punchline engages. Green Tea's up into the wall. Slasher and Harm Alarm doing what they can to slow Green Tea down. Red Wall holding strong with one-hit wonder. Bad Cop, Lady J out there. And now it looks like Punchline has got the punchline through. Wasatch is one jammer or blocker short. Green Tea still trying to get through the pack. Punchline comes around, runs into one-hit wonder and Lady J. They cycle him back. Now Wasatch gets some help from Gretchen Sketch. Wasatch gets hold, and now we have a handoff. Lady J gets a star. She's got to get that on her helmet. Arm Alarm's out there also. And just as Jay gets back around, they call it off. Five minutes, 40 seconds left in this game. Wasatch has a little bit of a lead. Doesn't stop these kids from playing. We do have a graduation after this, and after that we have 2 more bouts. So it's a full day of derby. Make sure you stick around. Here we go. Killer Queen lining up against Chameleon. Killer Queen on the outside, goes to the inside. Chameleon right up the middle, plows right into that white wall. Killer Queen trying to fight through that red wall. Now both of them in there. Now the backs are bunched up. Chameleon gets them to separate a little bit. Killer Queen trying to fight up against Sketchy and Bad Cop. One hit wonder, doing a good job, keeping them at bay. Chameleon's almost through. This is hard. We're in there. We only got 5 minutes left. And now Chameleon is through. Chameleon is loose, and it looks like no cut track there by Killer Queen. One hit wonder knew it was there. So there we go. We'll start off the next one with the power jam.
As Kevin said, we are getting a power start here for Wasatch, and it looks like we're going to have a familiar jammer out. That's going to be number 813, Mullet, to take the power start. During that last jam, Wasatch was able to put on 3 points, bringing them up to 170. And it looks like Diamond City Miners didn't score any, so they're still sitting at 94 with a little over 4 minutes left in the jam. It looks like Wasatch is setting up to play some immediate offense on that outside, and Mullet is through quick as a flash. That was honestly just a beautiful piece of offense, and because the jammer is still sitting, they have time to do it again. And that same path, that outside being opened up by, it looks like Joe Don't Do It and Lady J. You know, we see him coming around for another pass, this time trying the inside, having a little less success there, being drawn back. But it does give a little bit of a running start for Mullet again. And Wasatch is preparing for engagement here as Killer Queen is now back on the track and engaging with Wasatch. Mullet through for that another 4-point pass. But now, without the aid of their blockers to play offense, Mullet's going to have to do it alone, which is a lot harder, especially when Pocket Sand is there leveling those huge hits. Mullet taking a moment to regroup, pick up a little bit of speed. And, you know, weave through that pack. Honestly, it's like weaving through cones at times. Taking the long way around on the outside, but scoring another 4 as the Diamond City Jammer is still working at the front of the pack against that strong contingent of Wasatch blockers. We've got Mullet coming around for another scoring pass, hitting the seam, stumbling a little bit while breaking up the pack. You know, it's starting to look like synchronized swimming over there on the floor, but Mullet is through for another scoring pass. That's 16 points so far on the jam, and there's still 30 seconds left in this jam. It looks like the star was passed to the pivot. That is Slasher for Diamond City. So Wasatch is still holding firm up at the front. Mullet sneaking on through. I think this is the biggest jam we've had in this game so far. 20 points on the scoreboard already for Mullet for this jam. There's about 9 seconds left. We'll see if Mullet can make it around. The DCM Jammer was able to make it out of the pack and did force the call off from Mullet. Woo, that was a big jam. Wasatch, 20 points on that jam, bringing them to 190. Diamond City Miners at 94 with just 2 minutes left in the game. At this point in Derby, every point counts here. There are score differentials at play. So even if Diamond City can't come back and win the game, they can close that gap and really help with their rankings for this season.
All right, we've seen this before. Viper up against Chameleon. Both packs backed off onto the pivot line. They take off. Viper slams in there, so does Chameleon. Chameleon keeps her feet and is able to move through there faster. The Viper is still stuck in the Wasatch wall. Chameleon is through. Coming around. Viper getting held up pretty well. Chameleon's back into the scoring drive. We got a minute and a half left. Viper now breaks through, but Viper is going to get lead jammer. It's Viper's world. Chameleon got a no pass, no penalty again, it looks like. So they were able to go through and able to score, but it is Viper's world. Unusual, especially unusual to happen back-to-back with the same skater. So here we go. Coach saying, look at me. Viper skates through there, side eye. Viper getting cycled back by Sketchy. Sketchy doing a good job keeping them at bay. Hand off to Mockingbird and one hit wonder. Bad Cop leading the charge out there. Bracing, one hit wonder, cycles back. Viper. Viper gets back in. Chameleon having a tough time breaking through. Gets cycled back by Hard Feelings and Harm Alarm. Chameleon taking a beating there. Hard feeling says, hey, no hard feelings, just keep getting cycled back. Viper gets through, gets knocked down by Sketchy. Sketchy cycles him way back around. Viper getting the orders from the coach and calls it off there.
We do see the jam called, and the clock looks like it's ticking down. I'm not sure if either team was able to call a timeout or an official review to extend the game. It says it's the unofficial score, so that may have been the end. We're waiting for the official confirmation, which Dino, is kind enough to give us there. The final score for the game is Wasatch Assault 194, Diamond City Miners 102. Let's give it up for both teams.
All right, folks, you're invited to come out to the grade track there. As we got the rolling whistle, that sends everybody. We'll send these two teams around.
All right. We have coming around the track. It looks like they're shaking hands with the officials first, which I love seeing this. The Diamond City Miners roster here is Licensed to Dill, Killer Queen, Slasher, Hard Feelings, Viper, Killshot, Pocket Sand, Scandalous, Shovey Dovey, Toxic Sloth, Bowie's Knife, Punchline, Wicked, and Harm Alarm. Coaches are Jordan Martin, Quadfather, Regulator, Vic Swall, Rachel Blackman, Joe Huapa, and Tony Yano.
All right, and your very own Wasatch Junior Assault, headed out by Doppelganger Apollo, Valkyrie, Mack Truck, Slam I Am, and Skates and Ladders. We have Bad Cop, Chameleon, Green Tea, Crimson Slayer, Mockingbird, Circus, Roller Reina, Lady J, Gretchen Sketch, Pain Inda, One Hit Wonder, Mullet, Chemical X, Feline Feisty, and Joe Don't Do It. So, folks, we are going to have a graduation process. I'll get the information on it, and we will be back as soon as I get more information and timing. So stick around as we celebrate the graduating skaters.